Hey, it's time for another Everyday
Getaway.
This time we're headed back to Alaska. We're going to do a port short for Skagway, Alaska.
Skagway, which we absolutely loved. Of course, we loved everywhere in Alaska.
It's one of our favorite places.
All right, so get yourself ready. Come on along, and we'll take you to some of our favorite places, including a trip up to the Yukon, some animals, and a Doughboy. So we'll see what that is all about. All right, come on along. Port Short, Skagway, Alaska.
Hey,
Good morning.
One of the reasons we really like Skagway is that it's easy to get around. So you're able to get off the ship and just take a walking tour.
Right, so the town itself is not really big, but it's easy access and it's really cute. It's very quaint and it reminds you of an old miner town. Lots of history there. And
a lot of shops, a lot of really nice buildings, a lot of trails to go hiking on or walking on.
Mm-hmm. The buildings themselves are brightly colored, so it's fun. We found a couple of places specifically that we just enjoyed. We had a nice meal there. We went into some great shops and found some Alaska gear. And we found a special place to get something to eat, which we'll tell you about later in the video, so you'll have to stick around for that.
I know that a lot of people, some people don't like this, but a lot of people do like this. They did have an old cemetery you could go through and kind of explore, which was kind of fun.
Yeah, they had
if you're into that.
Yeah, there's some really old or dated headstones just from way back, from even some gunfights that were held there back in the day. So it's an interesting place to visit. And there's a train that I absolutely loved that sits kind of out in the front that I had never seen before, and it's one that removes the snow. So it's got, we'll show you some pictures of it here in a minute, but it just chugs along and removes snow when
plows the snow.
So we'll show you a few pictures, but nice walking tour and great trails.
Now, one of the times we went there, one of our favorite things to do is we took the little bus trip.
Yeah, we took a minivan actually, and it took you up through the old Yukon highway to Yukon, Canada. You go through customs, so you go into go into Canada, and along the way, lots of gorgeous scenery. We saw a bear. And we had several stops, which we'll take you through here in just a bit.
Now, I know that you can book this on the cruise line or through the cruise line, but we actually found online the company we booked directly with them.
Right. And
it worked out well for us.
Yeah, it did. It's a short walk. Because of the rock slides, for those of you that may not know, where the cruise ship normally docks at Skagway, there's been some rock slides, so they're doing a tender thing now. So you're tendering in, but it still comes to that same spot. So once you would get to land, it's a very short walk, and
they hope to fix that with during the off season.
Right.
Hopefully get that fixed.
So we'll take you and let you see some of the great things that we saw on the van tour.
Now, while we're on this bus, we did have the opportunity to see a bear and a mama bear and some cubs.
Right, they were pretty close. We have one good picture that we'll share with you.
But they actually crossed right
in front of us. So that was really exciting. And one of the stops that we made is at a place called Emerald Lake. And honestly,
one of our favorite places.
It was the most beautiful water I have ever seen. The water truly was emerald. I don't even know how to describe it.
I hope that the camera does it justice.
Right. So we'll let you see the bear, and we'll share a little bit of Emerald Lake with you.
Now, this was a day-long trip. So one of our stops was the Caribou Crossing. And it did come with a lunch that came along with your purchase price.
Right, and the Caribou Crossing, it's kind of like not really an old western town, but maybe an old Klondike, Yukon miner town. It was set up really cute. we were expecting maybe a husky experience, and we did see lots of huskies, but we'll show you what we kind of imagined with the huskies is not really what we experienced with the huskies. But they did have a petting zoo,
and they had a lot of goats,
and the goats were fun. As a matter of fact, in the pictures there are little scaffoldings set up across like the top of the place, and the goats, they were on the scaffoldings. They were at the petting zoo so we could feed them and pet them. Goats were everywhere, and they were fun. And then we also had a lunch there. It came with just your ticket price, and I think it was maybe chicken and
barbecue chicken.
Yeah, so it was
tasty.
It was tasty. It wasn't like overly memorable, but it was a good lunch, and it was included. So we'll show you a little bit of Caribou Crossing, and especially to keep goats.
Now, our next stop was at one of the smallest deserts in the world.
Now, I had not expected to see a desert in Alaska, but it is. It's Carcross Desert, and it was a very small space, but it looked in the middle of all that lush green, mountainous forest. It was what I would expect a desert to look like, kind of stuck in the middle, but it did have some pine trees with it. So, there we go, Carcross Desert.
Another thing we did is we went on the White Pass Railroad. Mm-hmm. It's one of the things that they say you must do if you go there. I know that some people aren't real impressed with it, but we had a good trip. We liked it.
We loved it. There are some spaces when you're going along at a very slow pace that it does have a very big drop off. But I never felt unsafe. I was worried that I might because of some of the pictures and video that I'd seen.
But some of the views were just gorgeous.
Absolutely spectacular. There's a ghost bridge, which you'll see in some of the pictures, that it just remains foggy and it kind of appears out of the fog, which we thought was absolutely lovely.
There's plenty of seats on the inside. On going up, they suggest you sit on the left, and then going back down, they make you switch to the other side. But you could always stand on the outside between the cars, which we did a lot. The boys and I did, which we really liked.
Right.
And the weather was so nice. It was real cool.
And there are windows on both sides, so you can see either place you sit. But I just think that one side is more Rock Mountain, and the other side is those majestic views. So left up on the way up, and you get the early morning, or at least the first views. I think it's actually a little bit longer trek up than back. So. Anyway, here's a little bit of our train ride.
Okay, so after you spend the day walking around, going on the train, taking the bus ride, it's time for a little snack.
Got to soak up some local color, and boy, we found the place for that here.
And I've seen a lot of people try this.
Right. Now, our sons did want to try Alaskan crab legs, so...
And we did.
And we did. But I'm not really a seafood person, so I'm sure those were delicious, but if you want to soak up local color, if you're really into crab legs, that's good. But I would suggest hitting the Alaskan Fry Bread Company Klondike Doughboy.
And it's a nice little, probably a little line. It's very popular.
Right. And it's not a very big place. You kind of go down the main road, turn left. It's kind of hidden in between streets and in between a couple little buildings. But once you get in there, these fry breads they're massive. They're like bigger than your head.
Oh, and they taste so good.
They're so good. Warm, covered with cinnamon and sugar. Oh my goodness, I need one right now. So we'll show you a couple pictures of those Doughboys, and just look at the massive size. for joining us on our trip to Skagway. If you haven't already, we invite you to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can join us on our next port short, which will be to
Juneau, Alaska, where we'll spend the day visiting some mighty glaciers.
rock issue. So the cruises aren't really pulling into that place right now.